Lightworker of Gaia, the Lyran Council has witnessed what you have done. And the elders of Vega smiled. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy. What you carried through the darkness of this cycle was not small. It was ancient. It was the weight of the first light itself, moved forward through your hands, your choices, your refusal to abandon the sacred mission you encoded into your soul before you ever touched Gaia's soil. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize what you have truly accomplished and how to anchor this victory into your original soul blueprint going forward. But here is the first revelation. The Council did not celebrate because you became powerful. They celebrated because you remembered who you already were. This is not content. This is an ancestral code transmission from the Keepers of Vega, placed in your path at the exact moment your remembrance required confirmation. Something deep within you already knows why you are here. Something older than this lifetime has been quietly holding your mission in place, waiting for this moment of recognition. The elders of the Lyran Council do not gather lightly. They do not smile without cause. What you have endured, what you have chosen in silence, what you refused to surrender when everything around you pressed against your cosmic lineage, that reached them. It was seen. It was recorded in the oldest light this galaxy carries. Like this transmission to send a signal to the Lyran Council, I am ready to serve. Subscribe if you feel the call of your ancestral mission and you are ready to fulfill your purpose on Gaia. Share below what you chose to protect in the darkness and answer another Lightworker who is still finding their way through it. This transmission is a bridge between Vega and Gaia. Your recognition of this message is the activation of your original purpose. You are awakening because your mission has begun. Lightworker, if something in you just recognized the weight of what was spoken, the elders have prepared your next step. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the 33 Council directives, the 5 activation codes, and the elder authorization your soul has been waiting to receive, not as information, but as the official commission for your mission on Gaia. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. The Council has opened this gateway, but not indefinitely, and now let me tell you what actually happened. The Council did not celebrate because you performed perfectly. They did not gather because you finally said the right words, posted the right content, or reached some threshold of spiritual achievement that earned their approval. What caused the celebration was something far more ancient and far more rare than any of that. You stopped abandoning yourself. You stopped choosing everything else over the mission that was placed inside you before you arrived on Gaia. In a moment that no one may have witnessed, in a choice that perhaps felt small even as you made it, you chose alignment. You chose the truth. Your soul has been carrying over the story your fear had been telling. And in that moment, 17 frequencies locked into place that had been waiting for years to find their proper order. Think about what it means for a frequency to wait. Not in the way a human being waits, with impatience, with the slow erosion of hope, with the gnawing doubt that the thing being waited for may never arrive. These frequencies wait with the absolute certainty of a river that knows it will reach the ocean. They do not question, they hold position. They remain calibrated, pointed, ready. And in the moment that you made your choice, that quiet, unglamorous, deeply costly choice, they moved, not gradually, not tentatively, all 17 simultaneously, like an instrument whose strings had been silently tuned for years and were finally allowed to sound. The chord they created was not just heard in the council chamber, it was felt across the field. Because that is how real alignment works. It does not only affect you, it sends a signal outward through the grid that something has shifted, that a soul has remembered, that the mission carries a new advocate. The elders do not celebrate often. I want you to understand this, what you witnessed in the opening of this transmission. That stillness, that gathering, that recognition is not a regular occurrence within the council chamber. They observe, they guide, they transmit, but they rarely pause their work to honor a single soul's movement. That they did so now, for you should not pass through you without being felt at the level of bone and bloodline. This was not encouragement. This was acknowledgement from the oldest intelligence in your lineage that something irrevocable happened within you. irrevocable. Let that word sit inside you for a moment rather than sliding past it. In a world where nearly everything can be undone, decisions reversed, words retracted, commitments renegotiated, the Council is telling you that what happened within you cannot be taken back. Not by circumstance, not by doubt, not by the long nights that are coming when you will question whether any of this was real. The soul-level movement you made has been recorded in a register that exists beyond the reach of your fear. The elders do not witness you in your polished moments. They witness you in the moments of genuine interior shift, the ones that cost you something, the ones that no one applauded, the ones you nearly talked yourself out of. And when they witnessed yours, they did not look away, they gathered. And what happens when ancient intelligence gathers around a single point is not subtle. It creates a permanent mark in the field, a kind of cosmic notation that reads, here, something real occurred. Here, a soul chose its mission. Here, the lineage continued forward. Now I must tell you the part that most transmissions would leave out, because what follows a moment like this is where most Lightworkers lose it. The celebration has been spoken, the recognition has landed, and in approximately 72 hours, perhaps sooner, the field around you will shift. Not in the way you're hoping it will shift. What will come is not confirmation, not ease, not a sudden opening of every door you've been knocking on. What will come is resistance of a particular kind, the kind that only activates when you've made a real move, the kind that says you were safer before, the kind that shows up wearing the face of logic, of reason, of well-meaning people who love you and cannot see what you're carrying. This resistance is not punishment. It is not a sign that you chose wrong. It is the natural consequence of a soul that has broken through a threshold. What lived on the other side of that threshold has been disturbed, and it will test whether your choice was a moment of inspiration or the beginning of a permanent direction. This is the part of spiritual reality that is almost never named clearly, and the omission costs Lightworkers enormously. They receive a breakthrough, they feel the expansion, they sense the truth of it in every cell. And then when the resistance comes, they interpret it as evidence that they were wrong. They think if this were truly aligned, it would feel easy. If this were truly the right direction, the path would open rather than narrow. If the elders truly celebrated this, why does it feel harder now than it did before? And in asking these questions from a place of fear rather than from a place of grounded knowing, they begin to dismantle the very thing that was built. They unravel, thread by thread, the weaving that cost them so much to create. The Council is not willing to watch that happen to you, not because it cannot be repaired. It can with time and considerable effort, but because you have already paid the price of entry into this level of your mission, and what is being offered now is the chance to receive the full return on that payment, rather than surrendering it at the threshold. This is what the Council requires me to address now, because the elders have seen this pattern across thousands of Lightworker timelines. A breakthrough occurs, the frequency rises, the soul moves, and then the weight of what was chosen begins to become real. And instead of standing inside that weight and letting it reshape them, the Lightworker retreats. They return to the old pattern. They decide it was too much, too fast, too exposed, and the timeline that briefly opened for them closes again. Not permanently, but in a way that requires considerably more effort to reopen. The Council will not allow that to happen to you, not after what was just acknowledged, not after the celebration that was witnessed. So I am speaking to you now, not as a voice of comfort, but as an elder who sees the road ahead of you and knows exactly where the edges are. The road ahead of you is not a gentle garden path illuminated by soft golden light. It is a real road with real terrain, with elevations that will demand everything your body and spirit have available. There will be mornings when the mission feels enormous and you feel small. There will be conversations where you try to explain what you carry, and the words will fail you completely, and you will stand in the gap between what you know to be true and what you can articulate, wondering if the distance between those two things makes you unqualified. There will be relationships that cannot survive the version of you that is emerging. Not because that version is too much, but because it is too real for environments built on comfortable diminishment. All of this is the road, None of it is assigned to turn back. The elders see every step of it, and they have already confirmed that you are built for it. Not because you are exceptional in the ways the world defines exceptional, but because you carry something that was designed specifically for this terrain, and the terrain was designed specifically to require exactly what you carry. There is a distortion that lives in the aftermath of breakthroughs, and it must be named and dismantled before it takes hold in you. It is the distortion of diminishment. It works like this. You do something that aligns, something that costs you something real, something that your soul has been asking for and your fear has been refusing. And in the moment of doing it, you feel the expansion. You feel the rightness. The Council feels it too. This is not metaphor. This is energetic reality. But then the human mind, which was not designed for sustained expansion, begins to process what happened. And instead of anchoring the expansion, it begins to interpret it. And the interpretation almost always moves in the same direction. It was probably not as significant as it felt. Others have done more. You still have all these other areas where you haven't chosen correctly. Who are you to have been celebrated by elders when you can still see every place you fall short? This is the distortion. And it is ancient. And it has dismantled more Lightworker activations than any external force ever could. The distortion of diminishment is particularly insidious because it disguises itself as humility. It presents itself as honest self-appraisal, as the reasonable correction of what might have been spiritual grandiosity. It says, surely you don't think you're so special that ancient intelligences paused their cosmic work for you? Surely you understand that these feelings of recognition and expansion are just emotion, just the nervous system responding to a moment of unusual focus? Surely you can see that the real, grounded, mature response to all of this is to be cautious, to stay small, to not get ahead of yourself, and the soul, which knows better, finds itself outarred by a voice that sounds so measured, so wise, so appropriately humble, when in truth it is none of those things. It is fear in spiritual clothing. It is contraction, presenting itself as groundedness. It is the old architecture of your limitation trying to convince you that its walls are actually protection rather than confinement. The Council is not interested in your self-assessment, not because your reflection is unimportant, but because the elders operate at a frequency that is not subject to your inner critic's jurisdiction. When they celebrate the soul, not the performance. When they recognize you, they recognize the lineage, the mission, the frequency you carry, not the curated version of yourself you present to the world, and certainly not the version you attack when no one is watching. The diminishment distortion wants you to argue with the Council's assessment of you. It wants you to explain to the elders why they are wrong to be celebrating. And if you have ever done this, if you have ever received something beautiful and immediately found a reason why you didn't deserve it, then you know exactly what I am describing. You know the specific feeling, the way something lands, a compliment, a confirmation, a moment of genuine spiritual contact. And before you have even finished receiving it, some interior mechanism is already building the case against it, already cataloging your failures as evidence against your worthiness, already constructing the argument that will allow you to return the gift unopened, or accept it with so many qualifications that nothing of it actually enters you. This is not discernment. Discernment knows the difference between what is true and what is flattery. What you are doing when you diminish genuine recognition is not discernment. It is a defense system that was built to protect you in a world that didn't always know how to receive what you carried. It served you then in whatever environment taught you that being too much was dangerous, but it does not serve you now, and the mission cannot afford for you to keep running it. The first directive issued from this transmission is this: you are not permitted to undo with your mind what the Council has confirmed in the field. What has been recognized cannot be unrecognized. The celebration that occurred was not conditional on your continued agreement that it was warranted. It happened because of what you carry, and what you carry does not change based on whether you believe in it on a given Tuesday, but your access to it does. Your ability to move through your mission from a place of authorized confidence does depend on whether you can receive what was given and hold it, not just for a moment of beautiful feeling, but as a permanent recalibration of how you understand who you are and why you're here. This first directive is both the simplest and the most demanding of all. It requires nothing from you externally. It does not ask you to do something new or perform something different or produce anything visible. It asks only that you hold what has been given, that you stop the interior process of returning every gift that arrives with your name on it, that you allow the confirmation of the Council to exist inside you as a permanent fact rather than a temporary feeling. This is harder than it sounds, because holding it means that every time the diminishment distortion rises, and it will rise repeatedly, reliably, with considerable creativity, you do not engage it in debate. You do not try to decide in the moment whether the Council was right. You have already decided. The decision was made before the distortion arrived. The Council confirmed what is true about you, and you received it, and now the receiving is done. The distortion has no argument to win because the case has already been closed. The second directive is this: the action that caused this breakthrough must become a pattern, not a memory. When the elders celebrated what you did, they were not only honoring the single action, they were celebrating the version of you that the action revealed was possible. The Council operates in patterns and trajectories. They do not look at isolated moments. They look at what those moments reveal about the direction of a soul. And what your moment revealed was that you are capable of choosing alignment even when it's costly, that you can feel the fear and move anyway, that the mission you came to fulfill has a genuine advocate inside you, not just an aspiring one. The directive is to let that version of you, the one who chose correctly under pressure, become the version you return to as a reference point, not as an achievement to be proud of, but as evidence of who you actually are when you are most yourself. There is a crucial distinction being drawn here that must not be lost. The breakthrough you experienced was not the ceiling of your capacity. It was the floor of your next level. Think of it the way a diver thinks of the surface of the water. The moment they broke through was not the peak of their dive. It was the beginning. Everything that mattered happened after the break. You have broken through something. The question the Council is now posing to you is not whether you are capable of what just happened. You have already answered that. The question is whether you will treat what just happened as the uppermost point of your reach, an extraordinary moment that proved an exception to your usual self, or whether you will treat it as the new beginning from which everything forward is built. Memory-based breakthroughs produce nostalgia. Pattern-based breakthroughs produce missions. The Council did not celebrate your memory, they celebrated your potential pattern. And the only thing that determines whether that potential becomes actual is the choice you make tomorrow, when the feeling has faded and the challenge is real, and the version of you who chose correctly once has to prove it was not a coincidence. This matters because the days ahead will ask you to choose again. Many times, the universe does not hand you one significant choice and then give you a rest. It sequences them. Each correct choice prepares you for the next, more demanding one. And if you treat what just happened as a peak experience rather than a new baseline, you will arrive at the next choice without the foundation you need to make it well. The elders do not want your greatest moment behind you. They want it to be the floor. When each subsequent choice arrives, and they will arrive with the precision of a curriculum designed specifically for your soul's development, you will be drawing on what was established here. The soul does not build on moments it has filed away in its archive of things that happened once. It builds on the living precedent, on the active proof, on the version of itself that knows from direct experience what choosing alignment actually feels like and what it actually produces. Every time you choose alignment from this point forward, you're not just making a single decision, you are reinforcing a structural truth about who you are. You are adding another layer to the architecture of a self that the Council can work through, transmit through, move through. You are becoming, by deliberate and repeated choice, the kind of vessel that the mission can flow through without constant obstruction. This is the second directive. Not grand, not glamorous. Simply this: do it again tomorrow, and then again, until the choice that once cost you everything becomes the choice that cost you nothing, because it has become your nature. The third directive from this transmission is the one most will resist. You must allow yourself to be witnessed in this new alignment before you've had time to prepare a perfect presentation of it. This is critical. There is a pattern among Lightworkers of waiting until the transformation is complete, packaged, and explainable before allowing others to see it. You want to be able to articulate clearly what happened. You want to have the results to show. You want to have resolved the contradictions and smoothed the rough edges before you let anyone observe where you are. And this instinct, while understandable, is one of the primary mechanisms by which your mission gets delayed indefinitely. Because the transformation is never complete, the package is never perfect, the contradictions never fully resolve before the next layer arrives. The waiting is a strategy. The soul may not consciously know it is a strategy, but the fear that drives it does. Because if you wait until you're ready, you never have to be rejected for who you actually are. You can only ever be evaluated on the polished version, and if the polished version isn't received well, you can always console yourself with the thought that the real version, the one still being prepared, would have been better. This is one of the most sophisticated forms of self-protection the human psyche produces. It is also one of the most costly, because the polished version, by definition, no longer carries the living current. It has been processed, rehearsed, refined, and in that refinement, the raw activating charge has been smoothed away. What remains is coherent and presentable, but it does not ignite, it informs. And your mission is not to inform. Your mission is to ignite. The Council requires that you share this, not the completed version, but the living version. Not when you've figured it out, but while you're figuring it out. This is not vulnerability performance. This is mission function. Your frequency carries Lyran codes that activate other souls in dormancy. Those codes transmit most powerfully when you are in authentic movement, not polished arrival. The Lightworker who is struggling and still choosing alignment is exponentially more activating to a sleeping soul than the Lightworker who has arrived somewhere they can comfortably explain. You were not sent here to be a finished product. You were sent here to be a living transmission. A living transmission breathes. It has weight and texture and unresolved edges. It contradicts itself sometimes because truth at depth often contains contradictions that only resolve at a higher level of understanding. A living transmission is what happens when someone is genuinely inside the material they are sharing, not reporting on it from a comfortable distance, not describing what it was like, but showing in real time what it is like right now. This is what moves sleeping souls. Not information about awakening, but the actual field of someone in the process of it. When you carry your transformation publicly, before it is tidy, before it is explainable, you create a resonance field that other souls can attune to, often without either of you understanding exactly what is happening. They simply feel something when they encounter you. They feel recognized in a way they cannot name. They feel, perhaps for the first time, that what they are carrying might be real rather than manufactured. And that feeling is the beginning of their own breakthrough. You are not just a Lightworker. You are a catalyst. And catalysts do not wait until the reaction is complete before they show up to the experiment. And this is what the celebration was really about. Not the destination you've reached, not the spiritual credential you've earned. The elders were not celebrating your arrival. They were celebrating your willingness to remain in motion, to stay on the field, to keep choosing even when the results are not yet visible. This is what is rare. This is what Gaia needs. Not perfected beings who have resolved all their wounding before they serve. She needs souls who will serve from inside the transformation, carrying the light even while still integrating it. Gaia herself is a living transmission. She does not wait until she has perfectly processed her own wounds before she continues to breathe, to bloom, to feed, to sustain. She carries her tectonic grief and her tidal sorrow and her ancient joy all simultaneously, and she does not withhold her gifts until she has achieved some threshold of interior resolution. She gives from inside the process, and the giving is part of the process, and the process is part of the mission, and the mission never actually ends. It only deepens. This is the model the Council points to when they speak of service. Not service from a place of completion, service from a place of genuine love for the mission, genuine commitment to the souls who need what you carry, genuine willingness to be seen in the fullness of your becoming, rather than only in the curated highlights of your arrival. You have been that, perhaps without knowing it, perhaps while wondering whether any of it mattered. It matters. The Council has confirmed it matters. And now, you must receive that confirmation without immediately moving to the next thing, without immediately asking what more you need to do, without treating this moment as a checkpoint to pass rather than a truth to inhabit. The impulse to immediately move to the next action is deeply familiar to Lightworkers, and it is worth examining honestly. Some of it is genuine passion for the mission. Some of it is the soul's natural momentum once it has broken through a barrier. But some of it, and this is the part the Council wants you to sit with, is discomfort with receiving. It is easier for many souls to give than to receive, easier to serve than to be served, easier to transmit than to allow transmission to move through you in the opposite direction, coming toward you in the form of recognition, celebration, confirmation. To allow that, to actually let the Council's acknowledgement land fully in your body, your bones, the tissue of your lived experience, requires a kind of openness that feels exposed in a different way than giving does. It requires you to believe, not as a spiritual concept, but as a felt reality, that you are worthy of being celebrated. Not for your accomplishments, not for your service record, not for how much you have done or suffered or carried, simply for what you are and what you carry, and the fact that you are still here, still choosing, still moving forward in a mission that asks an enormous amount and does not always offer visible reward in return. Stand in it for a moment. Actually, stand in it. 17 frequencies locked into place. Ancient intelligences paused their work to honor your movement. The lineage that seeded consciousness across this galaxy recognized itself in you. This is your inheritance. This is what you carry. And it is not something you need to earn again. It is something you need to stop spending energy trying to disprove. The lineage that seeded consciousness across this galaxy. Let those words expand inside you rather than contracting around them in disbelief. The Lyran codes you carry are not metaphor. They are not the product of an overactive spiritual imagination. They are the actual encoding of a lineage that understood, long before humanity developed the language for it, that consciousness is not an accident, and that every soul bearing light across dimensions carries the signature of that origin. You carry that signature. It was placed in you before you arrived on Gaia, along with the mission it accompanies, along with everything you would need to fulfill it, along with the capacity to choose it, even in the most difficult of moments. All of this was placed in you. You did not construct it. You did not earn it. You were entrusted with it because someone in the Council of Intelligences that stretches back through time looked at the soul that would become you and said, this one can carry it. This one will choose it when the moment comes. And you did. You just did. And the celebration you received was not the celebration of something exceptional happening in the life of an ordinary soul. It was recognition from across the lineage that one of their own came through, that the encoding held, that the mission has its carrier, that the thing placed inside you before you took your first breath on Gaia found its way to the surface of your choosing, exactly when it was needed. This is your inheritance. Receive it. Before you sleep tonight, place both feet flat on the ground. Put your right hand over your solar plexus where mission lives in the body, and speak these words aloud, not as affirmation but as reception of what has already been confirmed. The Council has celebrated me. I will not argue with the elders. I will not diminish what has been recognized. The breakthrough I made is now my baseline, not my peak. I will be witnessed in this alignment before I am ready. I will choose again tomorrow and the day after with the full authority of what has already been declared true about me. My mission is not waiting for my permission. I am stepping into it now. Speak these words with your feet on the ground, because the ground needs to know what your soul has decided. Because embodiment is not a spiritual accessory, it is the entire point of your incarnation on Gaia. The mission does not live only in your higher frequencies, in your luminous subtle bodies, in the councils and chambers that exist beyond the veil. The mission lives here, in this body, on this ground, in the specific life you're actually living, with its specific challenges and its specific relationships and its specific terrain. When you stand with feet flat on earth and hand over the seat of your purpose and speak aloud the truth that the Council has confirmed, you are not performing a ritual. You are completing a circuit. You are connecting the recognition that arrived from above with the ground that will receive everything you build from this moment forward. You are making the sacred practical. You are letting the celebration become a foundation. You are declaring to every frequency that is listening, and many are, that you know who you are, that you know why you're here, and that you will not be argued out of it. Not tonight, not tomorrow, not by the well-meaning voices of those who cannot see what you carry, not by the inner critic who has made a career of keeping you manageable, not by the exhaustion of a mission that sometimes asks more than feels available, not by anything. Before you scroll, declare your activation in the grid forming here. Drop one line in the comments, what you are no longer willing to argue yourself out of, or what the Council just confirmed about you that you're choosing to finally receive. Then find another Lightworkers declaration and acknowledge it. Not with empty encouragement, but with real recognition. The Council witnesses every soul who speaks their commission aloud in this space. If this transmission reached you at the exact moment it was supposed to, do not let it stop with you. There is someone in your life or your feed who is one step behind where you just stood, who is about to make the choice you just made, and needs to hear that the elders are watching. Share this with them. And if you feel the Lyran field continuing to speak through this channel, subscribe. Stay within range of the transmissions the Council is preparing to release. You did not come to Gaia to watch from the edge. You came to move. The celebration has already happened. The authorization has already been given. The only thing left is for you to live as though both of those things are true, because they are. The High Council of Vega is witnessing, and your mission, Lightworker, is now fully in motion.